I've known you so long, you had another name.
No, it was Simon. Okay, no, yeah, it was Simon Denny. Simon Baker Denny, hyphenated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simon
That
Baker
was my
Denny.
stepfather.
Right.
Identity issues.
Identity issues, well, which we can address in the film, too.
Yeah.
It's all throughout. I just read, too, that they're making L.A. Confidential into a television show.
Well,
or they're trying to.
Yeah, exactly, because they tried to do it
Yeah.
once before. Do you remember?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, they had a crack once before.
But it's such a great,
Yeah.
everyone's so great in that movie.
You know, it was
and-
my first film.
Was it really?
Yeah. It was my first film. I'd worked on a lot of television stuff in Australia. And what was kind of interesting was that experience of that film, they had a premiere at the Grauman's Chinese, and it was, you know, and it got lauded with great reviews and got nominated for Oscars and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, well, I love movies. This is great. And I thought that every film was going to be like that.
Yeah.
I think the next 3 films I made never saw the light of day. I was just like...
That's funny. That is funny. But you found great success. Come on. And Mentalist ran for 7 years. That's like lightning in a bottle, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
it's huge.
Oh, look, you know, everyone... at a certain point, you realise that everyone's going to have their own career, their own way, and you know, you've got to just embrace what it is for you and what works for you and how it works.
All right, let's talk about your film, Breathe.
Breath.
Sorry.
There's another film called Breathe.
I know, Breath, because it is all about breath. And most of this movie takes place in the water, which I loved. Or it's about the water, you're watching the water, you're in the water. I assume, obviously, you're a surfer, clearly. This was a novel. Why this movie and why now?
When I was about 15 or 16, I was first introduced into seeing films, and at that point, I lived in the western suburbs of Sydney originally, which is nowhere near the beach, and I saw surfing on television, and I saw it was on the news, and the first reaction I had was, what is that? What is that person doing? I want to do that, whatever it is. And I remember I used to go and see my nana. She lived near the beach, and you'd see the ocean, and I was so mesmerized by the color of it and the fantasy of it, but I was terrified of it as well. So I had this kind of fear of it and this allure, this desire to want to be in it. It's a bit like when you're at the edge of a cliff, where you go, oh, I want to just jump off and fly. So I've always had that, and I tried to infuse that into the film as much as possible. But why this film right now? I wanted to direct for a long time. I've been working towards it. A lot of, the decision to do The Mentalist, when I did decide to do that, I thought, I'm going to use this like film school, and I'll direct a bunch of episodes and go through the process. All the way through the process, from development to shooting and cutting and post-production, which was great. It was like film school, and you get to play with toys. This book came along. Mark Johnson sent me the book. I read the book. It was a very successful book. I loved how familiar I was with that kind of world and that material. And 2 things that I have loved most in my life is surfing in the ocean and acting and filmmaking. And I thought, this is probably an impossible film to make, but I don't want it. I want to have a crack. I'll have a go.
Are you living in Australia now? That's it?
Yeah, at the moment. I mean, I don't know if that's it, Krista. I don't know.
I always imagine there's so many Aussies. We love you in America, obviously. And I just saw part of the Posse the other day. So I always think of you guys on some giant group text or whatever. If you're Australian, you come in.
It sort of
Margot
happens.
Robbie was here, right? It's true, though,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, we don't have this great, huge population. We only have 22 million people. So, when we travel, we hang. We have a shorthand, so it's easy.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
And whenever we're in town, like as much as possible, we try to catch up. Like I caught up with a couple of friends that are in town last night.
Nicole's here with 2 films, actually. I think she was in very quickly, but I know.
Yeah, I saw her film.
It's great. He's with.
It's great now too. Like we all met each other when we were kids, like sort of in our early 20s, and hungry and full of excitement, and now we're all a little bit more settled and in our skin. And
Yeah, more comfortable in the skin.
yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, you still have all, like, look at that hair. Come on. It's crazy. You're like the envy of, I mean, look at that full head of hair. I
Look
love
at that little head of hair. Did you hear that quote?
No,
Look
I
at
said that
little
full head of hair. I was going to say, when I was watching the movie Breath, I was like, if he's not in this, I'm going to be really upset if he doesn't have one, if I don't get to see that mug. But
That
you
mug's
were
in
it.
there.